Hi, welcome to today's webinar called Building Literacy in the Outdoors. My name's Renee, and I'm thrilled to share with you how we can take literacy instruction beyond the classroom walls and into the natural world. Before we dive in, let me share a bit about my background. So, I hold a Master of Science in Outdoor, Environmental, and Sustainability Education, and I've previously worked as an outdoor educator with the District School Board of Niagara. These past experiences, both academic and professional, have shown me firsthand the power of outdoor learning to engage students and deepen their connection with the natural world. At the time of recording, I acknowledge that I am situated on the traditional lands of the Anishinaabe peoples. This includes the Ojibwe, Odawa, and Potawatomi nations, collectively known as the Three Fires Confederacy. I would like to honor the enduring presence of Indigenous peoples on this land as we live, work, and learn together. I commit to continuing to expand my own knowledge and understanding of reconciliation efforts, both past and present. I also commit to creating a culturally responsive future classroom that respectfully honors the land and all students in the spirit of truth and reconciliation. As educators, we know that literacy is the foundation of learning and is essential across all subject areas. Additionally, as we know, in Ontario, language instruction is recommended to account for 100 minutes of each school day, which is approximately one-third of total instructional time per day. This reflects the crucial importance of language and literacy learning for students. However, this 100 minutes also presents an excellent opportunity to extend language instruction beyond the classroom. Outdoor education offers a unique opportunity to enhance literacy skills while helping our students to develop a strong connection to nature. Strong literacy skills and a deep connection to nature both seem to result in positive outcomes for our students. As we'll see in the research later, combining both together seems like an ideal way to overall increase teaching effectiveness. We as educators simply need the skills and knowledge to do so. Therefore, throughout this webinar, we'll explore the benefits of outdoor literacy, practical strategies for integrating it into your teaching, and how this approach can also aid in both supporting Indigenous students as well as helping to incorporate Indigenous pedagogy. Before we dive in, let's take a moment to reflect. How many of you have taken your students outside for a lesson? If you have, what was the experience like? How were your students when you brought them back into the classroom? How did your students engage with the activities and the content of your lesson? If you haven't taken learning outside before, consider what the benefits that you yourself have experienced when a learning experience was brought into the outdoors. This can include courses we've taken throughout this teacher education program. And if you'd like to, feel free to pause the webinar in order to reflect on these questions for a moment. As for a rundown of the structure of today's webinar, it'll be divided into 5 main sections. First, we will discuss the overall benefits of outdoor learning, including evidence of benefits through several peer-reviewed articles. Next, we will go over how outdoor learning can enhance literacy instruction. Then we will go over some practical strategies for bringing literacy outdoors, which will include curriculum-linked and evidence-based learning activities. Then we will discuss how outdoor literacy instruction can help to support Indigenous students and how it can make incorporating Indigenous pedagogy into literacy instruction even more effective. Lastly, I will outline my personal call to action to my fellow educators and peers, and I will outline next steps. Hopefully, at the end of this webinar, you can be inspired to regularly include outdoor literacy instruction into your future classrooms in order to allow both you and your students to benefit from their combination. Without further ado, let's get started. So, why go outside? So, research shows that outdoor learning has profound benefits for students. Studies, like those by Fiscum and Jacobson from 2012, highlight improvements in behavior, mood, attention, and even academic performance when students spend time learning outside. For example, one study even found that students who participated in regular outdoor education showed significant improvements in self regulation, physical activity levels, and overall well being. These benefits are especially important in today's world where many students spend hours indoors, often in front of screens. The benefits, however, go beyond physical and emotional health. Outdoor learning also enhances cognitive development. When students are outside, they're exposed to new stimuli, which include sights, sounds, smells, and textures that engage their senses and spark curiosity. This multisensory engagement is particularly powerful for literacy development as it helps students make connections between words and the world around them. Outdoor learning can also help support the implementation of culturally responsive pedagogy, particularly for any Indigenous students in our classrooms. Additionally, incorporating Indigenous pedagogy into practice can be more effective when including land-based education. Many Indigenous cultures view the land as a teacher, and outdoor learning provides an opportunity to honor this perspective. By taking students outside, we can create a learning environment that is inclusive, engaging, and deeply meaningful. Another important aspect of outdoor learning is the fact that helping students become more connected to the natural world will help them become stronger environmental stewards as they develop a desire to care and to protect for the world around them. In our current times, this is incredibly important as our students will be inheriting a planet in need of a generation that is willing to take action. While Ontario doesn't have formal curriculum objectives to be met for outdoor and environmental education, we do have the document Acting Today, Shaping Tomorrow, which is meant to guide practice towards one that is more sustainably focused in response to the complex environmental and social issues that our world currently faces. The document outlines the importance of integrating environmental education into the Ontario curriculum to foster environmental awareness, responsibility, and action among students. It emphasizes the need for students to understand the interconnectedness of environmental, social, and economic systems, and to develop the knowledge, skills, and attitudes necessary to address environmental challenges. It encourages cross curricular approaches, collaboration with community partners, and the use of outdoor and experiential learning opportunities to inspire students to become active, informed citizens who contribute to a sustainable future. Here is an excellent quote I have included from Acting Today, Shaping Tomorrow. So, schools have a vital role to play in preparing our young people to take their place as informed, engaged, and empowered citizens who will be pivotal in shaping the future of our communities, our province, our country, and our global environment. Therefore, in order to ensure that we are meeting those objectives, we should try to incorporate outdoor learning into classroom practice wherever and whenever possible for the sake of our students, our communities, and our planet. So, we know outdoor learning is important, but how does it help enhance literacy? Research shows that outdoor environments naturally stimulate curiosity, creativity, and engagement, all of which are essential for effective literacy instruction. For example, in one study by Musa 2022 found that outdoor language arts activities significantly improve students' language skills, including communication, grammar, vocabulary, and creative thinking. When students are outside, they feel freer to express themselves, take risks, and explore language in meaningful real-world contexts. Additionally, outdoor learning provides opportunities for multisensory engagement. Students can see, hear, touch, and even smell the natural world, which enhances their ability to understand and retain language concepts. Outdoor environments also naturally encourage communication and collaboration. Whether students are describing what they see, writing about their experiences, or working together on a scavenger hunt, they're practicing necessary and essential language skills. For example, a simple activity like a nature walk can become a rich language experience when students are encouraged to describe what they observe using descriptive language. Third, nature provides endless inspiration for creative writing. Imagine students sitting under a tree writing poems inspired by the rustling leaves or crafting stories about the animals they observe. These experiences make literacy come alive. For instance, a study by Novak from 2014 found that students who read and wrote in natural settings produced more vivid and imaginative writing compared to those who worked indoors. Outdoor learning also supports critical literacy skills. For example, students can analyze environmental issues like the impact of pollution and write persuasive essays or create presentations. This connects literacy to real-world problems, making learning more meaningful. A project like this not only builds writing skills, but also fosters critical thinking and environmental awareness. Finally, outdoor literacy activities are inclusive. They provide opportunities for students who may struggle in traditional classroom settings to shine. For example, a student who struggles with writing might excel at creating a nature-inspired art piece and then describing it orally. This approach aligns with the Universal Design for Learning Principles, or UDL, which emphasize providing multiple means of engagement, representation, and expression to support all learners. To summarize how outdoor learning can influence literacy, outdoor learning offers unique opportunities to enhance literacy instruction in ways that traditional classrooms simply cannot. Here's how. Real-world contexts. When students learn outdoors, they connect language to the world around them. For example, describing the texture of tree bark or the sound of rustling leaves helps students build descriptive vocabulary and practice observational skills. Next, multisensory engagement. Outdoor settings engage multiple senses, which strengthens memory and comprehension. For instance, students can listen to bird calls, feel the wind, or observe seasonal changes, all of which provide rich material for writing and discussion. Creativity and imagination. Nature inspires creativity. Students can write stories, poems, or journal entries inspired by their outdoor experiences. For example, a simple cloud watching activity can lead to imaginative storytelling or descriptive writing. Collaborative learning. Outdoor spaces encourage collaboration. Group activities like storytelling circles or outdoor debates help students practice communication and teamwork while building literacy skills. Overall, these benefits are supported by research. For instance, a study by Ike in 2012 found that outdoor learning enhances both science understanding and language skills, as students use reading and writing to document their outdoor explorations. Now, let's look at some specific strategies and activities you can use to bring literacy outdoors. How can you bring literacy outdoors? Let's take a look at some practical strategies you can use to integrate outdoor learning into your literacy instruction. So number one is nature journals. So have students keep journals to record observations, write poems, or reflect on their outdoor experiences. This builds writing fluency and encourages self-expression. For example, after a nature walk, students can write about what they saw, heard, and felt using descriptive language to bring their experiences to life. Next, you can do story time outside. So use natural settings as backdrops for storytelling. For example, read some Robert Frost poetry in a wooded area or have students create their own stories inspired by the landscape. Another option would be to read The Lorax by Dr. Seuss and have students write their own stories about protecting the environment. This not only enhances comprehension, but also fosters a deeper connection to the text as you're immersed in what it's about, basically. Number three is scavenger hunts. So create literacy-focused scavenger hunts where students search for items that start with specific letters or match descriptive clues. This builds vocabulary and observational skills. For example, you could create a scavenger hunt where students find objects that represent different parts of speech. So you could do something smooth, like a rock for an adjective, or something tall, or something like a tree for a noun. So number four is environmental print. So you can use signs, labels, and natural elements like tree bark or roots to teach print awareness and vocabulary. For example, you could create a word wall using natural materials where students add new words they've learned during outdoor activities. You could also have students read and interpret trail signs or create their own labels for plants in a school garden. Now, this next piece can be said for many of these example activities I'm providing, but in the book, Bringing Words to Life, Robust Vocabulary Instruction, the authors discuss the importance of creating a lively verbal environment. By bringing learning outside the classroom, we can further extend learning into the natural environment, thus bringing vocabulary to life in the world around them. Now, perhaps for some of our primary students, we could use sidewalk chalk writing. So use chalk to write poems, stories, or vocabulary words on the pavement. This is a fun, tactile way to engage students in writing and spelling. Number six is storytelling circles. So gather students in a circle outdoors and take turns adding to a group story. This activity fosters creativity, listening skills, and oral communication. Lastly, place-based learning. So connect language and literacy to local geography and even Indigenous knowledge. For example, you can study local plants and their traditional uses, then have students write about what they've learned. This approach not only builds literacy skills, but also fosters a sense of place and cultural awareness. So not only are all of those activities and strategies just discussed able to be linked to research, but they also can easily and seamlessly link to the Ontario language curriculum. If we take a quick look at the key points of the four language strands, we can easily see where outdoor learning activities can link. So first of all, of course, we have strand A, literacy connections and applications, which of course focuses on transferable skills, digital media literacy, and cross-curricular learning, and emphasizes diverse texts, including First Nations, Métis, and Indigenous, or Inuit, perspectives. It also includes inclusivity and responsible online engagement. Strand B is Foundations of Language and helps build foundational language skills, including phonemic awareness, phonics, vocabulary, grammar, and progresses from basic to complex concepts across grades. Strand C, which is comprehension, understanding, and responding to text, works on developing comprehension strategies and critical thinking skills to analyze, interpret, and respond to diverse texts, including those from First Nation, Métis, and Inuit authors. Strand D, which is composition, demonstrates expressing ideas and creating text, and aims to teach students to create text in various forms and genres, applying writing processes, research skills, and language conventions to express ideas clearly and effectively. So again, these activities connect to the strands in several ways. So nature journals can connect to strand D, composition, by building writing fluency and self-expression through descriptive writing and reflection, and can also connect to strand A by integrating cross-curricular learning and personal experiences. Outdoor story time can be aligned with strand C, comprehension, by enhancing comprehension through immersive storytelling, and also can connect with strand A by fostering connections to diverse texts and environments depending on the literature selected. So scavenger hunts can be linked to strand B by building vocabulary and observational skills, and can be linked to strand A through interactive cross-curricular learning. Environmental print can connect to strand B by teaching print awareness and vocabulary, and can connect to strand A by extending learning into real-world contexts and fostering cultural awareness. The use of sidewalk chalk can relate to strand D by engaging students in creative writing and spelling, and can also relate to strand B by reinforcing foundational language skills. Storytelling circles can be tied to strand B by fostering oral communication and creativity, and can be tied to strand A by encouraging collaboration and self-expression. Lastly, place-based learning can connect to strand A by integrating Indigenous knowledge and cultural awareness, and can be tied to strand D through research-based writing and cross-curricular connections. Overall, these activities are simple, adaptable, and require minimal resources, just a willingness to step outside. These activities are also adaptable for different age groups and learning levels, as they can be linked to any strand within any grade, which makes them a great starting point for all educators. Now, some of you may be thinking, what about the challenges? Whether limited outdoor space or school policies can feel like barriers, but with a little creativity, these challenges can be overcome. For example, if you don't have access to a large outdoor space, start small. Use your schoolyard or even a nearby park. Portable literacy kits with materials like chalk, notepads, and magnifying glasses can make outdoor learning more accessible. And don't forget to involve your students in the process. When students take ownership of their outdoor learning experiences, they're more likely to stay engaged and motivated. Finally, remember that outdoor learning doesn't have to be perfect. Start with one lesson outside and build up from there. The key is to take that first step. So, outdoor literacy is not just about academic skills. It's also about fostering a connection to the land, which is central to Indigenous pedagogy. For Indigenous students, the outdoors is a space of cultural identity, healing, and learning. Here's how literacy can help to support Indigenous education and can honor Indigenous perspectives. So, Indigenous pedagogy views land as the teacher. By taking students outside, we honor this perspective and create opportunities for them to learn from the natural world. For example, you could invite an Indigenous elder to lead a lesson on traditional plant uses, followed by a writing activity where students reflect on what they've learned. You can also use storytelling. So Indigenous cultures have rich oral traditions. So outdoor literacy activities like storytelling circles or sharing traditional stories can help students connect to these traditions. For instance, you could organize a storytelling session where students share stories inspired by the natural world, and maybe even incorporating some Indigenous storytelling techniques. So cultural safety. So outdoor learning can provide a safe space for Indigenous students to express their identities and share their knowledge. Additionally, furthering learning and meaning by inviting elders to lead outdoor activities can create a culturally affirming experience. This approach aligns with the Ministry of Education's emphasis on creating culturally safe learning environments. So, outdoor literacy can also teach students about sustainability and respect for the land, which aligns with Indigenous values and environmental stewardship. For example, you could organize a project where students research local environmental issues and write letters to community leaders advocating for change. By incorporating Indigenous perspectives into outdoor literacy, we not only support Indigenous students, but also enrich the learning experience for all of our students. Now that we've explored the benefits and strategies for outdoor literacy, I encourage you to take the first step. Start small. Take just one lesson outside, maybe try a nature journal activity or organize a storytelling session under a tree. Here are some actionable steps you can take. So you can plan outdoor lessons. So choose a literacy activity that can be easily adapted for the outdoors, like a nature walk or a scavenger hunt, or any of the other activities we've talked about. You can collaborate with colleagues, so share ideas and resources with other teachers to develop a repertoire of outdoor literacy activities. You can engage with Indigenous communities, so reach out to local Indigenous organizations or elders or friendship centers to learn how you can incorporate Indigenous perspectives into your outdoor lessons. Then you can reflect and adapt. So after your outdoor lesson, take time to reflect on what worked well and what could be improved. Use this feedback to then refine your approach. So remember, outdoor literacy isn't just about improving academic outcomes. It's about creating meaningful, engaging, and inclusive learning experiences for all students. And for Indigenous students, it is an opportunity to connect with their culture and the land in a way that honors their identities. So as we reach the end of this webinar, take a moment to reflect on your initial reflections regarding outdoor learning. Has this webinar changed the way you view outdoor learning? Given what you know now after the information presented, how do you picture yourself incorporating this into practice in your future classrooms? Again, if you would like to, please feel free to pause the video to reflect. You can also feel free to reach out and share your thoughts via email. You can reach me at rclalond@lakeheadu.ca. I would love to hear your ideas and experiences, and together we can make literacy instruction more dynamic, inclusive, and connected to the world around us. So before we go, I would just like to leave you with this thought. So outdoor learning isn't just something that's nice to have. It's a powerful tool for enhancing literacy instruction and supporting student well-being. By taking literacy outside, we can create engaging, meaningful learning experiences that help students build strong language skills and a deep connection to the natural world. I encourage you to experiment with outdoor literacy activities in your own classroom. Start small, reflect on what works, and share your experiences with colleagues. Together, we can create more opportunities for students to benefit from learning in nature. If you'd like to dive deeper, I've included a list of resources at the end of this presentation, including the studies and articles we've discussed today. So the outdoors is not just a place to learn. It's a place to connect, to grow, and to inspire. By bringing literacy outdoors, we're not just teaching students to read and write. We're teaching them to see the world in new ways. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope you feel inspired to take your students outside and explore the endless possibilities of outdoor literacy. Let's make together literacy come alive in the great outdoors. Thanks again, and happy teaching.